Sign a prenup.
Sign a prenup. Casey's hot fire coming through. Hi. Be like, okay.
Like,
I want a hot take on this.
feminists across the world can hate me all they want.
Let's go.
I'm Casey, and I'm in a situationship.
Situation. What was it here?
To give him 2 kids. Like, I'd give him children. Yeah. Because they don't have the jack from both.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I think.
Yo.
To be fair, let me preface that I watched this off of TikTok. Before they get married.
Right? Yeah. That's the
That's just like a checklist. This is just before I figure out, before I put the knob, I don't know. Like, let's just ask these questions real quick. We'll put in the prenup. That's crazy.
Sign the prenup.
Our kid is sure about.
Hey, if he turns out black,
Yo, if he's not Christian, I want 50%. Yeah, that's crazy. If they convert, so
I think so.
and so if I ever saw that, I'll be like, damn.
Janet Jackson got a boatload of money after, I think, giving this billionaire, I don't know the full story, but because of a prenup, after she gave him like 2 kids, gave up her singing career for a few years, got a boatload of money from the prenup. Like, that's
What was the agreement?
to give him 2 kids or something like that. Give him children. Yeah. Because they don't have the jack from both.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I think.
Yo.
To be fair, let me preface that I watched this off of TikTok. But
Yo.
it seems like, I don't know.
Casey, I think you're giving a lot of guys some ideas.
Casey, I'll say it right now.
Wait.
$500 million, I would totally not think twice about it.
Well, I thought you were saying the opposite. I was like, oh shit.
No, I would no.
Yeah.
There's a price on everything. $500 million is
$500 million is crazy.
That's like, have you seen the TikToks where like somebody walks up to like a couple and then they rate and the guy's like, oh, like if you'll like kiss that girl over in the corner or whatever, I'll give you $50,000. And the guy's like, and he looks at his girlfriend, he's like, no, I would never do that to her. I'm like, heck no. Go get the 50K. Go kiss the girl in the corner.
Or maybe
I'll
date
get
a guy that
personally.
makes
I'll get
50K.
that.
Maybe
Actually, there is that doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
No, date a fucking guy.
Or
He
he
makes
makes
Made a
making
man.
50K is very different than having a
Alright.
50K
That's what I'm
bonus
saying.
to spend on your girlfriend.
50K versus like 500.
Like I saw a guy turn down like
But that's
100
different. We're talking about different scales. She's talking about like kissing a guy in a corner, and you're talking about literally having a child for someone.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah, so like I see that's
True,
about
true, true.
But like
proportional.
I
So,
agree,
like,
I
yeah,
think
that's
the price
fair.
on everything.
This guy. Yo.
No, if you think for a child,
I'm just thinking, what are some ideas you get off of this?
Alright, so to end off what we're going to talk about on this podcast, alright? And guys, just need super blitz answers.
Yeah.
What are you guys' overarching ideas on the idea of like how relationships are becoming increasingly more superficial, right? Like, or like people are kind of hiding their true selves from the relationship. So an immediate question is like, okay, someone kind of putting on a facade at the beginning, not really like showcasing who they truly are, but they want to like be amenable to the person that you want them to see. What do you guys think about that in general? Like, is it okay for someone to kind of put up a front?
No.
Like, it's realistically not going to be honest with you. Like, about their
I
whole
think-
true character set.
I think eventually it comes out though. So it's like
Yeah.
not gonna relationship like last. It's not gonna last like that long. Like they say, I'll say like give it 3 months. Like, like it'll come out, and then if it comes out and you're not like happy with it, and you're not compatible after that, then like that's.
Is this in the perspective of you already like getting into the relationship, or are you just going on dates with someone?
You're going on dates with someone.
I think it's kind of expected. Like I view it as like same way you view a job interview. You're like gonna be obviously your authentic self, or to the degree that you want to represent yourself, but like you're not gonna show all your like worst qualities on like a first date or something. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
That's not gonna make the person like attracted to you. Obviously, those things like you said are gonna come out, but like I don't think initially that's gonna really happen. You're gonna want to show your your best case to yourself or your most appealing
So
self.
that makes
That's
sense.
human, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do have this thing, and I completely agree with you guys. I'm just kind of playing the other side. Is and this comes more with friendships, but I will be like unapologetically myself at the very get-go. So when they do, if I come off as like, my best self in the beginning, and then they get to know me later and they don't like me, like then I wasted 3 months on that friendship. But if I am who I am at the very beginning and they don't like me, well then I've already weeded them out. But
Sure.
again,
the time wasting aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just saying maybe you have like some maybe quality that you're not proud of yourself. It's not like saying like, oh, like a messy eater or whatever. Like I don't care about that, like personally. But like I'm saying, like you have something that you probably would not be okay with sharing with a lot of people. You probably don't want to show that on like first date or first part of a relationship. You know.
Well, I think you need to build a foundation first before you come out with like,
Saying
I
that
have
stuff.
this. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to trauma dump on the first
Yeah,
date.
yeah, exactly.
But that's something
That's-
that should come out eventually.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
what
are
I'm
definitely
saying.
agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. What do you guys think about the idea of today where I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but essentially what I want to ask here without asking it straight up is the idea of someone chasing another spouse for like what they can kind of get out of that spouse, right? Like, for example, there's a lot of movements where it's like, okay, I'm going to go get my bag. And like gonna go to see this partner of mine, and like I'm not gonna say it's a guy or a girl. It can happen on both sides, right? And they're like, oh, I want them for their money, but people are like, oh yeah, go get the bag. Like, please do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is that balance there of like getting your bag, securing it, but also being like a human being and like caring for the other person in a genuine way, and not just trying to get things out of people.
I just want to say, like, that's one of the things that, like, attracts people to, like, one another.
Yeah.
So that's
like,
one of the
Being
that's one of the
successful is
attractive
very attractive.
factors.
Being successful is a very
Because it comes along
attractive
with a bunch of
trait.
other
Very
good stuff.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So it's
interesting.
like, yeah, you can say it's like you're getting that bag, but that's anyone can say that's a
Anyone would want
very
to
attractive trait
I
to
think-
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think to your point though, it's like that level of like attractiveness comes with the idea that like okay, this person is successful. Can envision like a life that I would want to have with that person, or like a level of stability that I'm gonna get with that. Because when you're looking at that from success standpoint, you're looking at like the life that you're gonna adopt being with that person. I think what Chika is asking is like, what is it the case where like it's some college girl, whatever, on like a cheerleading team or whatever, trying to date like a potential NFL pick or something. Like that's the level I think he's grasping.
Tiny minority of like people who are looking for that kind
Like, so maybe just around really
Hands really out with a bag.
a lot of people really don't.
I fundamentally believe like people have a lot of the same like drives and desires, and I think we all want to be loved and love
No, for
someone,
sure.
and that
For
feels
sure.
really good. I think some people might be like outside of that, like maybe like they have like a really more toxic view of like relationships, and they're very transactional in terms of like what can I get out of it. But I just think that's a tiny minority of people. Like that's not how people
I
act.
think
I think in
that
today's generation, it's more prominent than you
I'm
think.
not gonna lie, like from the girl's perspective, like me and my friends talk about it all the time. Like, do you know what a WAG is? Like the wives and girlfriends of athletes?
Yeah.
Like that's like like everyone's like goal.
I feel like that's what you guys are talking about. You guys are literally talking about like professional athletes' girlfriends. Like, and you're like,
Well,
this is like a
athletes.
big thing. This
Well,
is
it could be
this is
like-
like a big thing that's happening. I'm like, wait, you're talking about like 0.00 what percent of the population? Like, you guys are talking. No, yes, you're talking about people who are dating professional athletes. Like,
No,
you're
I
like,
mean,
No, it's not just athletes.
No, but okay, but
okay, but like,
There's
or
tons of
any
girls.
like.
I know, just like there's tons of ways to be rich.
I don't know. I'm
yeah, there's
I don't
millions of
really
ways to
think
be
so.
rich. We're just saying like, what if it's someone who's like an average person trying to marry or date up someone who's like
That's
like
okay.
echelons
I
of like
think
tax
that's
brackets.
okay.
Okay, it's fine. I'm saying
I think,
like
honestly,
chasing
you
them
get
only for that
hurt
factor.
enough, like
Yeah,
you
well,
stop,
like honestly,
you
like
stop,
good
like,
for them.
trying to
Like
figure it
if
out.
they want to, like that's those person's goals, and like they're okay with that, and that's gonna get them to live a happy
You're saying
life.
if the person who's more successful is okay with it.
If they're both,
No,
if they're both living a
Yeah.
happy life, then like what's the
Yeah,
issue?
yeah,
And
yeah.
there are
Kind of thing.
plenty of older men who are okay with being
yeah.
used for their money to date a young,
That's true.
hot
Like
woman.
think about it.
Alright,
These
sure.
like
True.
really really like successful like wealthy people can easily say no and not do it, but they're entertaining it as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're entertaining it, then that's
And
totally
again,
fair
if they
ground.
want to
They
protect
are.
themselves,
Yeah.
they sign a prenup. All comes back to the prenup.
Okay, Casey on the prenup contract. She's
Casey's
a
real
prenup
like some prenup
Well, as
educator
someone
out
who's-
here.
Dated a
Educator.
few people who, and I'm not that wealthy, but I work a nice job, and I've dated people who have called
No,
me their
work is nice.
sugar mama, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, I don't want to be taking care of you, so yeah, I'd rather date someone that we either
No, that's
make
very
equal amount of
fair.
money or they make more, and
Yeah, I mean.
I
that's
think also
fine.
from the other perspective, like if you get hurt enough times, that aspect of relationships just kind of fades into the background of the play because it's like people are gonna keep hurting me left and right. Like I got trust issues out the wazoo. So like if you keep getting hurt enough, like it fades to the back to where you're like, okay, now I just need to find somebody who's successful and can keep me in a like happy lifestyle. And like I know they say money isn't happiness, but like to an extent, like if you're
Money really
comfortable,
does
like
get you where you want.
it can get you there. So like I feel like there are people who definitely like if you get hurt bad enough, like they'll drop the love aspect from a relationship and just make sure that they're comfortable.
So you're talking about someone who literally is no longer looking for an actual relationship partner, someone who's just.
I think there are.
I think that's a
I think
tiny
that-
proportion.
yeah.
That I would say is
I think
that's like
That is
a
a small
tiny.
here's something I
I
want.
think it's temporary too. Like you might be doing that, a girl might be doing that for some time, but then
Yeah, so
yeah,
let you go out of that.
eventually,
Maybe.
yeah.
It's just like like the rational way to
Yeah.
go out
Yes.
would be. And then most people, or so you eventually find someone who probably cares about you. Like, you know what I mean? I really care about my wife,
We
right? Like, I'm not gonna, right? So I don't think it's an everlasting or ever flowing, degree of like, I'll never find someone again who's able to treat me properly.
Yeah.
Getting her is like a series of things that happens, and it's kind of like a thing you have to overcome. But something I was gonna ask though, and this is our last point, is what if you're with that person initially? Like, obviously, you don't want to be with a broke guy. Like, you don't want to be with a broke girl. I don't want to do that.
After that.
Or because he's pursuing something he's passionate about.
That's
and
also
can't
a
get money.
difference.
Yeah,
That's
I
also
think-
a difference.
Yeah, I think dating someone based on their status, especially if they're like lower status like that, is like kind of immature. Because I guess at least at our age, because everyone's kind of really in that growth development stage,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
and I think some of the true values that come out of like solid, strong relationships is like really trusting and having that faith in your partner that like they will build themselves, or you see the potential of them building themselves.
I think it's true, especially at our age.
Yeah.
So what if the person loses their money? Like you're with this person and they're like, let's just
They
say,
don't
for example,
care
an
anymore?
unfortunate series of events happen to them and they no longer have the bread where they are right now.
It's just
And
unfortunate.
They could
and they're
gamble
still
in
the
a way,
same
obviously, you're
person.
gonna leave that person, but
They're
I'm
still
saying
an
they're
ambitious
still
and
the
cool
same
person.
person,
They're still an
cool.
ambitious and like
They're ambi- and I
intelligent.
want
like
everybody to
they can
answer this
be.
because this is very important. Let's say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, for example, like, you're with that partner. They're a good person. They're compatible. Everything's great. But, like, they had a series of bad events. They're, like, financially, like, not, you know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
like, you don't see that recovering for a while. Like, you like, they got hit on their face. You don't see that coming up for a while. What
I
do
see
you
that
do?
not mattering.
But what are like the reasons that you don't see that?
What I'm saying is that if it's not their fault, like let's say it's not their fault, and they tried their best, they worked hard, but like at the end of the day, this is not about what happened. This is about you're in that stage right now. That person has no money.
You
and
stay
love
with
them as a
them.
partner.
Okay, but
Stay
if
with them.
it-
You believe in that.
if it's not really if it's not actually something, if it's actually a situation where it's not their fault, then it's kind of
It's like you already built a
ridiculous.
foundation of a
Relationship
relationship
with
like,
them,
it's
Why are you
like-
letting like an existential circumstance define your value of that person?
Absolutely.
Like if it's like someone who's actually like,
External, yeah.
for example, like financially responsible, like they gamble, they do something that would obviously make them lose money more than they would gain it, and they just keep doing that even after they've taken that loss, and you don't see that recovery, then it's like, okay, break that cycle for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like if it's something that genuinely, something that just you can't control, then who are you to judge them for something that happened? Because what happens if Taylor returned and it happened on you?
Mhm.
Facts.
You wouldn't want your partner being like,
Absolutely,
yo, like
absolutely.
you don't
But-
got this now, like.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you. And I like, ideally, I'd like to say that I would be that person that would stick through that hard time. But growing up as someone who didn't have single parent income, like I paid my way through school, and like I didn't have the wealthiest background, and knowing what it feels like to support someone now, like it would be not a mental, not the financial burden. Like screw that, but it's like the mental and emotional burden of having someone else to rely on, or have someone rely on you is just, it's a lot. But ideally, I would like to say, like, I hope I'm a good enough person and strong enough to be able to be by their side. But I'm just saying, like, and I've never been in that situation, but I hope I would make the right decision.
We're talking about a temporary situation, though, right? Like, because we're talking about an individual who lost their job or like whatever for like completely
I'm just saying
external
life- I'm just
circumstances.
saying life
Yeah,
hit
I've
them.
kind
In
of-
general, life hit them.
I've
and
kind
they
of
just
lived
don't
through
have
this, so
money.
Yeah.
I can speak through it with
Yeah.
some decent confidence, honestly.
It
But-
also kind of depends on what you like value. Like if somebody values like stability in a situation
Right.
and you
Now
all of
we're
a
talking.
sudden lose stability in that, like that's really hard to like just
That's
throw
exactly
yourself
what I'm
into like the
asking.
unknown and just like
True.
hope that everything works
True.
out. Like it just depends on people's core values.
Stability is a bare minimum requirement for any
And
relationship.
a lot of people
like,
grew up without that stability. So working towards getting to that like could have been like the longest, hardest path for them, and to just have that crumble away because of someone else, even if you love them, like it could be, I don't know, traumatizing is a really strong word, but
At what point are you practical, right?
Yeah.
I have to raise
Yeah.
I have to raise my son. I have to raise my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't want them to grow up in a house with someone that doesn't have money.
if you're being practical, you're talking about someone who didn't lose their job because they did anything wrong. They're probably gonna get a new job in the next few months.
it has
Like,
nothing
what?
to do with them.
No,
doing
but sometimes
anything
that doesn't
wrong.
happen.
And
No, but I'm just saying, like, you guys are acting like this
Nah.
person's never gonna be able to like support
That
themselves
was
or
just
anything
the
again.
prompt that
that's
you
the
gave.
problem. Yeah.
But like,
and
no, I thought the problem was actually the opposite of that. The problem was this person didn't do anything wrong to like lose their career. I thought the problem was
okay, but
completely
the
opposite.
whole point of it is whether it's entirely out of their hands why they are in that circumstance. Would you stay with that person from a long-term perspective, regardless of the situation that's happening to them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
we're talking about the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so consensus, because we gotta wrap it up.
I think it depends on the situation. Like Axel was saying, like if they are willing to work to get back to that stability, then that's fine. I'll stay with him because I see the potential and I love him. But I would just go taking the other route and saying, like, if they weren't trying to work for something.
Yeah,
You're bad
that's
at
fine.
it. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
I
I
think
think we'd all agree on
I think
that.
so. It's about being with the person. If you're truly going to be with someone, you need to be with them and like help them get through that journey. If it's a lost cause, they don't want to be there.
I actually have a small question to that, to Casey's point.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I guess like let's say that situation does happen and you like embody that like that philosophy you just gave earlier. Like I guess like do you think that there's a time limit to how much faith you kind of have in that person?
That's a good question. That's the
No,
last thing.
I think it's all situational. Like, I mean, not only the economy, like given this market right now, it's awful.
Yeah.
But it's also just the situation. Like maybe they were sick or hurt or something. There's no time limit. I don't think you can put a solid figure on any kind of.
Yeah, it's just about effort.
Yeah.
So as long as they're putting in some effort, as long as you can see the progress, right? Stick with your partner. That's at the end of the day. That's why you're their partner.
Ride or die, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Dude,
Right.
ride or die.
Like that.
Can't be fake for a bag, bro. Bag can get anywhere, bro. Literally.
All right. So this has been a great episode. You know, we only got through one section. I think we're probably gonna have to run a part 2, definitely, because I had way more stuff to cover.
I want to hear more of her opinion.
I don't even
barely talk.
They popped off on the religion, yo. They popped off on the religion.
Nah, you popped out.
That was her shit.
No, we'll definitely run this back. I'm gonna have you guys back in a completely different episode when we get to the next section. But look, this has been a great episode. Are there any final words? Anybody want to drop anything? Like, you know, hey, this is like something I need to just dump on the crowd. I think people need to hear this. Is there anything from anybody that they've been spurring in their souls?
I'll just say to add on to that last point, like invest in your partner. Like honestly, don't look at it from like saying like, hey, like it's okay if someone's like, you know, you marry someone or you get into a relationship with someone that's fully established, but if they're working their path or they're like not where they want to be, you should I think it speaks to the person who's really working on themselves that you're really sticking with them through that growing pain and that growing phase. That really will build like a strong fundamental relationship. You're only gonna like gain more from sticking with that person than you are just dumping them for not going through it, you know.
And I think that's a great point. I think that we're actually expand that. We're going to expand on that for our next episode. Of course. We're definitely going to run a part 2 for this.
For sure.
But thank you guys for watching. This has been Relationship Status, where we talk about all things young love. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, and we'll see you guys next week.
Of course. Peace out.
Perfect.